Hello YouTube, it's Katie and welcome to the floor by my window where we typically film videos. This might be the last time or one of the last times that you guys see me on the floor by my window because your girl has signed a lease. I have a place now in California that is very far from this window in Georgia, so this might be one of the last times that I'm here because the plan pretty much is to pack up my shit, figure out where I'm working, and move. So I'm not sure which adjectives I put in the title, but I know that this video is a little bit different than some of the other moving videos on YouTube because I am not a YouTuber. As someone who doesn't have YouTube as their full-time or even part-time job, I've been doing this for the past 4 years because I like it and because I'm hoping it takes off eventually, but not because I'm making any money from it. So as someone who isn't doing that, I am 22 years old and not a millionaire. So my budget for rent is not $3,000 a month. So with that in mind, this video is a little bit different than the other apartment videos you're going to find. I'm not looking at any luxury apartments. There won't be any floor-to-ceiling windows. I'm actually not even looking at any one bedrooms where I'm going to be living by myself. So if that's what you're looking for, I'm sorry, this isn't the video for you. This is more a video for people with a much lower than YouTuber or grown professional budget who are trying to see what realistically they can live in California. If you are a subscriber of mine or you're just really nosy and curious and want to know what's going on, I am going to be making a moving announcement video where I talk about why I moved, the challenges that I have faced getting to this point because there have been a lot, and more about what moving content you guys can expect from me as I make this transition. So if you're just here for the apartment tours, hi, hello, this is your video. If you want to see a little more, check out probably my last video because it would make sense to upload that before this then, yeah, wouldn't it? So check out my last video and subscribe for more content because I can already tell you there is more to come. I'm already in the process of the next video on my moving process. First off, let's get into what I needed from an apartment. So, I really wanted to have my own room. I was fine with sharing a bathroom, but of course I would have preferred my own. And if I was to share a bathroom, I wouldn't want to share it with more than 3 people. I needed my place to have air conditioning, which to me seems very basic, especially for living in California. But you will be surprised to find a lot of places, especially houses that are within 10, 15, 20 miles of the coast, just do not offer AC for absolutely no reason in the state that is always literally on fire because it's so hot. So I was trying to avoid that mess. I preferred laundry on premises or somewhere in the near vicinity. I didn't want to have to go to a laundromat, but honestly I felt like I wasn't really in a position to be picky, especially because I was already requiring AC, so it kind of was what it was with laundry. And I needed a parking space. Even if I was going to be living in central LA, I needed a parking space because I didn't know where my job was going to be, and I do have one friend also moving to the state for school, so I wanted to be able to go and see her. I also didn't want to live with any kids. Since my budget was so low, all of these living situations were shared, be it an apartment that had a room available that they needed someone to take the lease for that room, or a house that someone owned and they were renting out each of the rooms. Every situation I was looking at required me to share common areas and just the home in general. So I really wanted to avoid living with young children, and I also wanted to avoid living with older people. I don't know anyone in town, so I felt like it would have been a good situation for me to be able to make friends with my roommates. So I was looking for at least one other female roommate living with me. I couldn't live with all men, and I was hoping to find people in their 20s and 30s. I didn't want anyone to smoke in the place that I lived, and if I did, I wanted them to do it outside. And I really wanted a pool, but it wasn't like a deal breaker for me. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, my budget for this whole ordeal was $1,100, and that is with everything included. Utilities, Wi-Fi, parking, all of it. $1,100, that was the absolute max. I was not going over budget under any circumstances because I literally couldn't afford to do it because I get paid dust. I'm a new grad. There's no money here. I don't have YouTuber checks. No companies are paying me $12,000 to do a 30-second ad read in a video. I do not have time to go over budget because I will be homeless, and there's already a homelessness epidemic in LA. I didn't need to add to it. So, with all of that stated, let's get into the apartments. By the way, there are going to be some times when the little apartment video is done, but I'm not quite done with my voiceover. So you're going to see me sitting here dancing as I continue my voiceover. So if you see any of this, don't be alarmed.
Here we have our first apartment, Casa Urbana in Santa Ana. I was looking at a one-bedroom with a shared bath, which was available for $10.50. That's with utilities included, given that you pay the $20 application fee. It had 3 other roommates, 2 female, 1 male. Guests were allowed. It had AC. No one smoked indoors. It wasn't really near downtown Santa Ana, and it offered driveway, street, or garage parking, depending on when you got there. Here she was showing me this co-living space outdoors. She said 70% of it was edible, so I guess there were a lot of herbs and things there. And then from there, we were headed back to the apartment. So here I'm showing you guys a little bit of a street view. And then we come in through the front door. And when we get inside, there is a no shoe policy in the apartment complex, so we all had to take a moment to remove our shoes before we could really have a look around the place. So here I am showing you the shared living space with the living room and the kitchen. The space comes furnished as is, so what you're seeing is what you get. It's a very, very pretty sort of modern decor, just really nice, anything that a nice millennial or Gen Zer would be able to appreciate. And the Nest AC, luckily, with this big lovely couch, and it seemed like the theme colors were green and yellow, which you can see from the pillows, the accent wall, and outside. Here you can see we have a little bit of a patio outdoors by a sliding door lead to our patio, even though there is lots of outside green space. And once I had a little bit of a look downstairs, we went upstairs with this lovely light hardwood, which covered most of the house, by the way, which is really pretty. And from the upstairs, I could walk down the hall and see the room that I would be staying in and the bathroom I would use. So here we have the room, and it comes with what you see, so the bed, the mirror, etc. I felt like it was just a teeny tiny bit dark. It doesn't look it that much in these videos. The whole house is just a little dark. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't the best. The closet was a nice size, and it had that divider in it, which was great. And this is another room that was available. It was slightly bigger, as I think you can see, but only slightly, so not the biggest difference in the world. But the rooms are pretty much just space for the bed. And then right outside the rooms was an outdoor sink, and then the bathroom contained the toilet and these lovely standing showers with tubs. The sliding door and the tile was so pretty. It was clear that these were newly renovated. It reminded me of the bathrooms you could get in Georgia, because everything in California is kind of older. So I really liked how nice it looked. And please excuse my dancing as I finish my voiceover. As I said, that place seemed a little bit dark, but the community members that I got to meet that day seemed really nice, and the girl was really emphasizing their need to build community, get to know people, network for work positions and for making friends, and it just seemed like a good place to live. It was a very quiet street, didn't hear a lot of noise, and it looked a lot like Miami being in Santa Ana. There's a lot of Spanish-speaking people, and there was also a little K-town area, so there were a lot of Korean, but just generally Asian, like Chinese, Vietnamese, Taiwanese, so on and so forth, people. This was a very diverse area. So that was apartment number 1.
After that one, we were supposed to go and view an apartment. Where was it? I don't remember where it was. We were supposed to go and view an apartment here for this much with these details, okay? So what happened with this is I messaged the person the night before and was like, hey, are we still on for tomorrow for our 2 p.m. viewing? They said, yes, we are. I said, okay, great. And I did this with every apartment that I looked at, so I knew that everything was correct. Tomorrow at 2. Cool. Then the day of, I messaged them, hey, we will be on the way, but we're running a little bit late. they said, okay, cool. And I sent this message at like 1:30, right? We're running a little late, right? For our 2 o'clock appointment because it's 1:30, right? Then we get there. I text them, we're here, no response. I call, no answer. I call again, no answer. We go up to the door. I ring the doorbell, no answer. I call again, no answer. We left. 40 minutes pass, and then the person messages me. I thought you meant 5. So last night when I said 2, and when we first set this up when I said 2, and when I changed the title of our group chat to Saturday at 2, and when I told you I was going to be running a little bit late just before 2, you thought that that meant 5? I don't know what the deal was there, but my parents and I were pretty much in unison with deciding that that person was just not the one. I don't know if it was divine intervention or what, but that was just not the one for me. So then we went to the third but kind of second apartment because we never actually viewed the second one.
Next, we're viewing apartment number 2, which I'm calling La Mirada because that's the city it's in. It is a 1-bedroom shared bath for $730 a month. It has laundry in a unit. Like, I don't know if y'all just saw that, but it has laundry. And look at this bedroom. Hardwood floorings, so big. It is like a room and a half, sometimes double the room of the other rooms I looked at. This closet might not look it, but you can literally step inside and still have space between you and the clothes. So it's like low-key a walk-in closet. Has the reflective mirrors, ceiling fan and AC, huge window which shows outside so nicely, just a big bedroom. Like, it's so nice. And then as we walk into the bathroom, we'll get to that. We will get to that. You can see it has these nice big windows, lovely nice big mirrors, lovely window that lets in light, big counter space, and then it has this shower, which is so filthy. Like, I don't know what happened in here. I'm gonna have to get the Lysol wipes together if I decide to move in here. Girl, this ain't cute. Soap scum everywhere. No. So, very messy. I asked to see the other bathroom, and this one, while it has less counter space and a smaller window to let in light, it is cleaner, and it does have a tub available. So, you know, in the rare event that I decide to take a bath, I have that option, and it is a little cleaner in there. Then we went back and looked at the living spaces. So this is the family room. Not like crazy about the couches, but I do like that it has the couches as an option and this big TV. There is a cat, but the cat is temporary. It will be gone by the time I move in. So this is the living space. As you can see, it's very lived in. I have 4 roommates in this place, all females, all in college. So very lived in spot. You can see this big balcony that they have through these sliding doors, which leads out into their beautiful backyard, which I will show you in a few moments. But then we went into the kitchen, which has a gas stove, which I love, a dishwasher, which I love, and a garbage disposal, which I love. It also had 2 fridges, but it also had these girls' mess. Like, why is there food and crumbs and dust all up in the stove? What is y'all doing? And it doesn't even end there. The microwave wasn't cleaned out. The sink had some little food pieces in it. It's giving Georgia, but over there. I love this whole area that the place is in. La Mirada, such a pretty town. I didn't really show you guys the outside, but it kind of is like Southern California meets San Francisco. It's hilly, it has lots of nature, it's just very beautiful. So I really like the area. You can see their dirty microwave. Really like the area. Love the big room, but these girls were dirty, girl. Like, dirty, oh my god. And then this is our little dining space. After that, we actually went and saw the landlord's second house because they had newly renovated it. As you can see, it just looks a lot cleaner, nicer, fresher, newer furniture and everything. There aren't any rooms available in this unit, but they were saying, like, it's literally right down the street from the one that we just looked at. If you want to go look, we can, and if ever any rooms become available, maybe you could move from one unit to the other. So I just went and looked just to see. And as you can see, this place, you could tell it's newly renovated. Like, she is nice. It's also a lot cleaner. The people who stay there are a bit older, carry themselves a little differently, and it's just nicer. Not really into the electric stove instead of gas, but like I said, I don't really have room to be picky. Like, my funds are not all the way there together. Also, rooms in this place would be a little bit more expensive, so that was something to consider if ever one even became available. This was just looking at it to look at it. I don't even know that there's an option, but there were 2 kitchens. Why were there 2 kitchens? I don't know. But there were 2 kitchens, and that just seemed so fancy to me, and everybody had their own fridge. It's crazy the things that they do out in California, like my own fridge, I don't even have to share. Wow. So this was the second house that we went and viewed. Didn't see any of the bedrooms because they're all currently occupied, but that was the space. So as for the other one, the one that I would actually have a room available in, there was no smoking, quiet time, guests were allowed. It was a month-to-month lease, so I had the option to leave whenever I wanted, which was really, really nice, but there was a quick turnaround. The place was really in high demand, and the landlord couldn't hold it off for me for later, so if I wanted it, I had to act quickly. And then there were 4 roommates instead of the typical 3, so it was a little bit more crowded of a space. No pool, no gym, but plenty of street parking. So that was that apartment.
I would like to offer a little bit of advice to anyone who is also looking for apartments at this time. Please, when you go and look at apartments, bring a notebook and a pen, and before you actually go and look at anything, write down your questions. Your questions are pretty much your non-negotiables and the things that you have to know to rent there. So write down things like, what is the application process like? What is the cost of rent? Does that cost include utilities? Where is laundry? The things you have to know in order to live there. And then also write down questions that pertain to your non-negotiables. Like, say you have to live in a pet-friendly place, you can ask, is this place pet-friendly? How much is pet rent? If you really, really, really only want to live with a certain gender, you write down a question of, who lives here currently? What are their daily routines like, if that's something that's important to you? Just anything that's, good for you. I would recommend 5 to 10 questions, and they might get answered by the leasing agent while you're there, but just in case they don't, have the questions written down so that you can flip to the next page in your notebook, write down the answers, and just keep everything together so that you don't forget anything or get confused about what you saw and who said what, because it does kind of blend together. Thanks for listening to my little tip. Now let's get back to the apartments.
Next, we have apartment number 3, which I'm calling room numbers. It was located in Westminster, a 1-bedroom private bathroom for $925. So, this place offered, as you can see, well, you can't see it, but there are actually room numbers on the doors, which is why I call it room numbers. That's just how I remember it in my head. Did have AC, also had a pool. The room came as you see it, so I would be able to take that bed frame, and also you'll see later there is a TV on the wall, which I could take. The room was much smaller, so it was mostly just space for a bed, maybe a desk if I crammed our girl, but it was very, very bright, lots of windows, and as you can see, it had an ensuite private bathroom, so it would be just as clean and lovely as I wanted it to be. It only offered this standing shower, which was tiny. Like, I tried stepping inside, and girl, the shower head was directly in front of my face. Like, it was tiny, girl, but it was mine, and it was private, and I liked the stain of the floors, how they were lighter, and everything was just so bright. Like, they really got you with these windows. This room was considered the master, so I would have access to be able to park in the driveway as opposed to by the street. And as you saw, I got that free bathroom. And then there's the TV that it comes with as well. So as we head back out, they are showing me the cleaning closet, and they do have a laundry machine in their garage. So nice that there is on-site laundry. This place was offering month-to-month rent, which is really convenient for someone who doesn't know if they want to stay there or not, so I could come in and out and be all over. Furthermore, the place was 10 minutes from the beach and 25 minutes from Irvine, where one of my friends will be living, so it was a nice location for me personally. This is the main living space with this kind of antique furniture, and then you can see that big crate there because actually the owners have 2 Doberman puppies. But if we look right past the crate, as I think I'm about to show you, there is a pool with a sort of whirlwind area. I thought it would be a hot tub, but it's actually not. It spins. But still, there's a pool right there, and I would have access to it. So that would be very, very nice. And then I actually decided to go outside and have a look around, which I don't know if I filmed or not, but I did do it. They also said that they had a Planet Fitness gym less than a minute from their house that they would sometimes walk to. So it wasn't technically on site, but there was a gym nearby. The backyard was closed off, really private, and the other houses were just nice. And then we're back inside now looking at the bar stools and their kitchen area. The one thing that I didn't really love was that one of the landlords actually vaped. He said that he vaped outside, but it's also like he's the landlord, so can I really trust him to go outside 100% of the time in his own house? And if he doesn't, like, who's gonna hold him accountable? He's literally the landlord. So that was one thing that I wasn't too hyped about with this place. But other than that, it was a pretty good deal. So here they're showing me their outside like pantry shelf, and then how everybody has their own fridge shelves, which are labeled. You can see the little tiny labels in there. And as we saw to the side, they had their washer and dryer. So that is pretty much all I have to say for apartment number 3.
I'd like to offer a little tip for people who are looking for apartments, not only in LA, but in any big city or commonly lived in area. If you do not have enough money to afford a studio or 1 bedroom in the area, like me, you can look into finding some roommates to live with so that you guys can get a 2, 3, or 4+ bedroom apartment or house. Or you can just simply look for living arrangements where someone is renting out the rooms that they own, or a group of roommates is looking for a final person to join a lease with them, things like that. So in order to do that, I would highly recommend rooming websites like spareroom.com. You can also use Roomster, but it is paid, and you can use roomymatch.com, but that one is also paid. They make it look like it's not paid. It's paid, girl. Or you can use Facebook groups, which is what I did. I had a Facebook group for Irvine moving, a Facebook group for Orange County moving, and a Facebook group for Anaheim moving. And there was also a Facebook group for Black people moving to LA, so I joined all of those. I was very, very active in them. It was pretty stressful. You guys are going to have to check out my troubles with moving video, the last one that I uploaded, in order to see that. It was very stressful, but I ended up finding some things, and actually the place that I ended up choosing came from one of these sites, because everything that I saw came from one of these sites, because I couldn't afford what was available on apartments.com. So that's just a tip for you. Look at some different odds and ends if you're looking for affordable living in a city that you just kind of can't afford. Alright, thanks for listening to my tip. Back to the apartments.
Next off, we have apartment number 4. I'm calling it Spare Room because it's the only one I found on that website. It's in Anaheim. It was a 1-bedroom, shared bath, listed for $776, and that's without utilities. Utilities are $50 one month, $100 the next month, and then back to $50, and they alternate. It was in an apartment complex, so they had some amenities. You can see me here looking into the laundry room, and then across from the laundry room, they had a little tiny gym set up. Wasn't nothing special, but it was just a little start, some basic workout equipment, and then they had some yoga balls and resistance bands in the corner that you couldn't see from my first view. Yeah, see, there they are. They also have a little rack of sorts. The outside of the complex was really cute. I really liked the look of each of the units, and I enjoyed all of the greenery with the grass and the trees and everything. As you can see, walking in front of me is one of my potential future roommates, and she has a similar skin tone to A, which I quite like. It was one thing that I was trying to look for in an apartment, was having some people to room with who were like me. You can see here these little garage units. That is one option of parking, but the roommate went ahead and told me they fill up really quickly, so I might have to do street parking, which is about a 5-minute walk away from where the actual apartment complex is, which I don't love. We just walked through their little outdoor greenery space, and then the actual door to where I would live is right on the street, so I'm just showing you what that walk looks like. And then this ends up being the door. We are one of the green units. We head inside, and they have a sort of, I forget what it's called, porch outside where they're doing some little plant propagation, and it's kind of cute. I could put a chair out there and just have my mornings. And then when you walk in, this is what I am greeted with. The other roommate who's standing there and the original one. Here I was trying to figure out like what this was or what was going on, but it was actually one of the girls' rooms. They had converted the living room into their bedroom. Pretty common practice for Los Angeles, but I wasn't the biggest fan of it. And then this is the kitchen. It's one of these sort of narrow apartment sort of kitchens, but it was full with a big fridge, gas stove, garbage disposal, dishwasher, microwave that was clean, everything that you would need for all of your cooking needs. It also had these lovely gray hardwood floors, which I quite like the look of. And then this would be the room that I'm staying in. I'll turn the light on in just a second. As you can see here, it has this pretty big window. Big windows are kind of common in California, so I've noticed. I actually lied about turning the light on. There isn't a ceiling light in this room. I just remembered I opened the window instead. But you can see the size of the room. It's about big enough for a bed. Not much else. But that problem ends up being solved by this. This is the closet. My mom gave me the genius idea of putting my desk in half of the closet so that the room only needs to fit my bed. So that would actually fit very nicely. And if I ever find the light switch, the one thing about this place, the light switches were not where I expected them to be. You would see this is the bathroom. All three of the girls living there would share the one bathroom. So even though it's kind of en suite to my room, it's still shared. And as you can see, it's kind of cluttered. There's a lot in there with three people. But pretty much that was the space. Great big master room with the super huge closet. So let's move on to the next apartment. Next off we have here apartment number 5. I'm calling it exposed brick because it's in downtown LA, a 1-bedroom loft with a shared bathroom, and it went for $880 a month, plus you'd have to pay $200 extra for parking. So this is the main living space. I love these sort of marble floors that are kind of split up to make it kind of seem like wood, but not really. It was just very interesting. And then this is the kitchen area. It was a full kitchen, but it was kind of just small, but that's okay. It's still a full kitchen with the dishwasher and everything. And then this is the room that I would be able to stay in. What you're seeing on the floor there is a twin bed. So this room was twin bed sized, which, you know, is to be expected for some places in California, especially downtown. Twin bed in a desk kind of situation. And then this was the view from outside of the window. You can see the exposed brick on the wall by the bed there. And then if you look up, the wall isn't complete, like it doesn't go to the ceiling. So that's why they call it a loft. It's not really a loft, it's just open to the rest of the place. That was the closet that you saw there, pretty narrow and small. Just like the room, everything was small. And there was a Dalmatian, if you missed it in the previous clips. This is the window from the main living space where they had a TV and a little couch. And of course the kitchen. It was all a very open floor plan, and I didn't even show you guys the bathroom because I didn't look at it. Honestly, spoiler alert, I didn't really like that place, so there wasn't a lot to show you because as soon as I walked into that bedroom I was like, you know what, no, it's time for me to leave. So that's apartment number 5. That's my And finally, we have apartment number 6. I call it shared living in downtown LA. It was a 1-bedroom. That's the laundry room, by the way. 1 washer, 1 dryer for the entire unit. Okay, it was a 1-bedroom, 1-bedroom shared bath for $950 a month. This is the inside of the unit. It is one of those spaces where the main area is already decorated, and as you can see, it's very nice. Didn't come with the TV, but they had that nice little mural there, so we could just sit and stare at that, I guess. The decoration was all very mid-century modern. Really liked it. The wood is that lightish gray color that I liked, and then the cabinets were this lovely gray, super pretty, and some of the drawers, which you'll see in a second, like this one, are actually soft close, which is extra fancy schmancy. They had a deep sink with no garbage disposal, but they did have a dishwasher, microwave, stove, and fridge, all stainless steel appliances. The place was clearly newly renovated because the outside didn't look as nice as the inside did, so clearly new, Very nice size. Really liked how it all looked. It was very pretty. And then down the hall, we would be able to see my bedroom, which we'll go to any moment now. Here it is. Nope, this is the bathroom. But as you can see, they did the same thing as that other place with the newly renovated tile in the bathroom, sliding doors, tub, just really, really nice. I tapped it to see if it felt like plastic or marble. It was plastic, but it was still pretty. And then they had this lovely sink with the mirrors. Everything was just really nice in that bathroom. And then this is the bedroom. The floor is carpeted, and I noted that it felt a little weird. I don't think that they reupholstered the floor. I think they just kind of stuck some carpet on top of what was already there, because it felt a little strange. But the closet was very deep. It ran the length of the whole wall, and it had those nice mirror sliding doors, which if I had to have sliding doors, I wanted them to be mirrored. And then it was just a decent sized bedroom. Like, I could fit a desk if I really crammed it, but it was mostly just bed space. So that was that apartment. The best things about it is that it was 10 minutes from downtown LA, which I loved, and it was right near K-Town as well, so I got to experience both. Really, really awesome. There were 3 available parking spaces, so I'd be able to have parking. It was a 10-month lease rather than a year. It wasn't month to month, but it wasn't a full year either, so I felt like I had a little bit more flexibility with that. There was no smoking, no pets, unfortunately no AC, but other than that, it was really nice, and there would be 2 male and 2 female roommates there. So that was the apartment.
So, pause the video. Pause this video. I will know if you're cheating. Pause the video. I want you to go down into the comments and type in which apartment you think I chose, or which apartment you would have chose if you were in my situation. Go ahead. Leave one. Go ahead. Leave one. So I didn't pick the first apartment in LA, the one with exposed brick. I didn't pick that one because the room was absolutely tiny. Nobody warned me about the dog, and I'm not opposed to dogs, but I feel like that is something you should say, like, hey, we have a Dalmatian. Like, I would just appreciate the warning. I wasn't really happy about living with men that I didn't know, didn't get to meet, didn't have anything with. The girl who showed me the place seemed friendly enough, but I don't know, it was just very small. The living space was just kind of sparse. And the kitchen was just not giving what it was supposed to give, and that bedroom was just so small. Plus, with the extra $200 a month for parking, it just kind of wasn't affordable for the size that it was. And while I really, really like the hustle bustle in the city and being downtown and everything, my parents were concerned for my safety, and I didn't want to have to try and convince them that I can handle living in the city, even though I've literally lived in the city before. I just didn't want to deal with it because that place did look a little tiny bit raggedy. So I ended up not choosing that one. It was actually the bottom of my list. The next one that I didn't choose, and the second to the last on the bottom of my list, was the listing that I found on spareroom.com. I didn't choose that one because with someone living in the living room, there wasn't really a communal living space for everybody to go to, which I didn't like. I thought the room was kind of small. It was sort of made up for with the bigger closet, but it was just kind of small. It was really hot in there. They said they had AC and that it was on, so I feel like their AC just wasn't good enough to meet my needs. It was very, very hot in there. And I didn't enjoy the shared bathroom with 3 people when it was already so cluttered and so messy. Trying to add in my stuff, especially the stuff for my hair, just seemed like it would have been a little bit too chaotic. And then there were also just like, that was giving kind of shady. Like, all of the other ones seemed very genuine and like real living situations. This one, like, I would ask them very basic questions about the way that the lease worked, or about how paying rent and utilities worked, and they could not answer my questions, and they didn't know, or they gave answers, but then I would ask a similar question later and their answer would conflict with what they already said, and it just seemed kind of out there. We're not really together, and I wasn't really feeling it. Like, it was giving weird vibes. So I was really excited to have the option of a black roommate there, but I decided that it just wasn't for me. The next place that I chose not to move to was Casa Urbana. I really did like Casa Urbana, and it was honestly a very good choice of a first viewing, but I decided not to live there just because, one, the rent was the most expensive of anything that I looked at, and the room had a nice big window. It was nice enough, but it wasn't like most expensive rent nice enough, you know what I'm saying? Again, black roommate, really excited for the opportunity to do that. And the girl who showed me around, the leasing agent, she seemed really nice, and she lived either in that unit or in one of the other homes, so I felt like I could have gotten along with her. But I ultimately just decided that it wasn't for me because of the price, and mostly because of the area that it was in. I really did not like Santa Ana. Really didn't like it. I think if you speak Spanish or speak an Asian language, they call it Koreatown, but honestly there were a lot of different Chinese, Vietnamese, there was a lot there. If you speak one of those, you'll be fine, and you'll be great. But if you're like me, and you speak English, or you just speak something else, I don't know that that is the best place for you to live. And maybe it's just because we were so near K-Town, and the sort of downtown-ish district of Santa Ana, maybe further out in Santa Ana it's better, but just there, it felt like English speakers weren't really welcome. And I know that we were, but it was just difficult. Like, all of the store names were in Spanish or an Asian language. When you'd go into a restaurant trying to order food, the whole menu is in Spanish. When you would go and like want to go, you know, do something at the laundromat or get your nails done, everybody there only speaks Vietnamese. It's just like, if I wanted to move to a different speaking place, I would have left the United States. I just didn't like that. I felt like I couldn't communicate there. A little bit more English representation for where I was going to be living, especially moving out of state. I just needed to feel comfortable, and I wasn't there. And on top of the language barrier, I just didn't like how it looked. Like, Santa Ana looks like Miami, but they picked it up and put it in California. It's literally just Miami, and if I wanted to move to Miami, I would have just moved to Miami. I would be closer to my family, it would be cheaper. I would have just gone to Miami, but I didn't want to, so I didn't. So why are you trying to take me and put me in expensive Miami where nobody speaks English? I didn't ask for that. Next place that I didn't pick was the place that had room numbers on the doors. I did like this one. No, I didn't. I didn't like or dislike this one. It was just an option. And it was a good option because it was month to month. I think it was my second choice for most of the time there. But it was, you know, kind of expensive for the size of the room. It was nice that it had an ensuite bathroom, but that bathroom was really jacking up the price because the room, it was not giving $925. I'm sorry. Came with a free TV and bed frame, which is nice. Helped. But that price, girl, it was just not giving what it was supposed to give. Living with two Dobermans who are puppies and very playful and large, like, I'm just not into that. I have a dog at my house, but he's very chill. He's very calm. He always has been. Even when he was a puppy, we got him from the shelter where he was abused. So when we first got him, he like didn't move at all. He didn't walk. He didn't bark. He didn't run. He didn't do nothing. And we had to work him up to behaving like a dog. But even still, he's a beagle mix, and he's just very chill. He can be excitable and playful when you play with him, but for the most part, he's chill. So I didn't want to move in with excitable puppies, basically. Two of them who are really big. Like, I just wasn't interested in that. Furthermore, it didn't feel like my space. All of the other ones at least felt like I was joining a space and able to make it my own. This one, for some reason, felt like, it was probably because the landlords lived there. It just felt like I was being given a room. Here's a room. Put your shit in your room. Stay in your room. Don't touch our stuff. Even though that wasn't the rules, even though I was allowed to go in the kitchen and the living room, the pool, and do whatever I wanted, it just didn't feel like my space. It just felt like I was running a room in other niggas' house, and I had to be careful of where I was and what I was doing, you know? It just didn't feel homey. So I ended up not choosing that one. Even though it was my second choice, because it was month to month. But it was like, I would stay there so that I could move somewhere else, but just to have a place to live. Like, it's not like I actually wanted to be there. And the last place that I did not pick was the shared living space in LA. I love downtown LA. Like, love it or list it. I love Rodeo, I love downtown, I love Hollywood, I love Beverly Hills. Any part of that city I adore. So when I saw this place, I really liked it, to be honest, and I was excited about living there. But again, the rent was one of the most expensive, which I wasn't that into. It was in a sort of rundown part of the city. I mean, not really. I only had to drive 10 minutes away to be back in a cute area, but that 10 minutes could have meant a world of difference. Who knows? And the biggest deal breaker of all was that it didn't have AC. I need AC. It was a non-negotiable for me. Honestly, I was considering negotiating it for this place because I just really liked being in the city. But it wasn't going to work. I had 2 male roommates who I didn't know and hadn't met. I also hadn't met the other female roommate, and they were all older than me, so I would have felt a little bit out of place. There's no AC, which is just not going to work for me, especially with fire season coming up in the next few weeks. And it was just in an unsafe area of the city, so my parents weren't that into it either. I really love that place. It was my number 2, and like I said, I love the city. I might be moving further into the city in the next year or so as things progress with me, but I didn't pick it. So if you're good at deducing, you might be able to tell where I did choose. I chose the La Mirada house. I find it a little strange that I ended up choosing this place because I added it to my apartment viewing literally on a whim. Like, the way it happened was I knew I wanted to live near Irvine, so I was adding a bunch of places in Westminster, Santa Ana, Costa Mesa, blah, blah, here, there, everywhere. And then people started dropping out. I would message them and be like, can we still meet? And they were like, no. And I felt like I wasn't seeing enough places. So I messaged more. One of them, the place was listed in Anaheim, but they were like, oh, actually, this is in LA. And I was like, okay. So I went and saw it. And then I added another one to the LA listing. Then I was like, well, what if I like LA, but it's too far? And what if I like one of the Santa Ana places, but I end up working in LA? So I decided to add one that was in the middle. Just one, just on a whim, whatever. The cheapest one that I found, and it ended up being the best. Like, it was a huge room, AC, all female roommates who were all around my age, great rent price with everything included. Like, it was just the best deal by far. Honestly, I knew I wanted to stay there pretty much as soon as I saw it, and I canceled all of the viewings. I had 3 viewings scheduled for Sunday. I canceled them because after viewing the 2 places in LA, I just said, you know what, I already know I don't like Santa Ana. And 2 of the places Sunday were in Santa Ana, and I was like, I don't want to see them. And then the last place Sunday was at 6 p.m., and I was like, by then, somebody might take my house in La Mirada, and I'm not doing it. So I canceled them, and I messaged the landlord and was like, sir, you need to let me move in because I'm moving in. So yeah, I ended up choosing the La Mirada place, and that is where I will be moving in the next few weeks. La Mirada, California. Decided for safety reasons not to show you guys the view from outside of that place because it is the one that I chose. But it's a beautiful view. You step outside, and straight from outside the front door, you can see hills. I think they're the Hollywood Hills, but I don't know. You can see hills. It's beautiful. The roads are kind of like up and down like San Francisco. And there's flowers everywhere, greenery. It's just gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous place. Like, I'm gonna love taking walks around my neighborhood and just outside my house because it's beautiful, girl. And there's a park. Like, go outside, go down the road a little, park. It can't get better than that. It really can't. It's just in a gorgeous area. So that is all. How do you guys feel about my decision? Do you think I made the right choice, the wrong choice? Would you have chosen differently? And do you think that my apartment is as great of a deal as I think it is? And thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more of my movement process, please press that subscribe button and give this video a like so I can know that you guys like this, and so that you can be notified when I upload more. Go ahead and press that little bell icon. It'll tell you when more of my apartment videos come out. So that's so convenient. We love it. I hope that you guys would leave a comment saying how you felt about all of this and this whole moving process thing. If you guys are moving, please feel free to help each other in the comments and give some tips, words of advice, where you looked, what you liked, what you didn't. And once again, I want to thank you all for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I'll see you all next time. And until then, toodaloo. Click on some of my links. I always leave my links here. And I leave you guys time to click on them. Some of you like to play games and not click. But not today. Go ahead. I'm literally waiting. Alright, since I know all of you have clicked your links and you're gone now, bye.